right, September is here. There's some changes in effect besides the weather, football, and those stupid pumpkin spice lattes everybody raves about. But one of the biggest changes that came out right now would be the NMFC changes that just rolled out, right? They announced it 2-3 months ago. September 1 was the effective date on those changes. And sure enough, even though they were rolled out, you know, some carriers do a better job than others communicating that to their customer base. But a lot of customers, one, the NMFTA, NMFC numbers and the way we catalog freight, we make it really hard to understand just in general. But the basic summary, if I'm going to tie a bow tie around this, they took more and more items, consolidated them with existing NMFC numbers, but they also went and moved them to a density-based scale, right? All as that means is that based on the size, the weight of the package, you will fluctuate or change through the subscale, which means you will change class. If you change class, you will absolutely change the cost of your goods. A couple reasons why that's very important to know is everybody knows that freight is expensive. It is a cost. And if you don't account for those costs or understand them, they will hit your expensive sales of your product. So it will change the landed cost of your product to get it onto a store shelf or that next business you're shipping to. Number 2 on this list that I want to bring up is on platforms like ours, right? One of the things that comes up is carriers sometimes put customers on NMFC exceptions, no different than a class exceptions. And I had a customer reach out and tell me, hey, I can't dispatch with Old Dominion anymore. I can't dispatch with Daylight Trans anymore. What's happening? Well, when I looked into it, he was getting that error because his NMFC number no longer exists because they consolidated it with an existing number and moved him to a density-based item. I think he was shipping fasteners, right? Like when you put a steel building together, the little fasteners that hold that plated steel onto the steel frame, and it changed. He is now density-based. So not only was he not able to dispatch with that, on the other end, the carriers he was fine to rate and dispatch with through our platform, he started to get W&Is, right? Because he was using a set class. Now that he's density-based, his class is changing based on the density of that actual product, meaning the size and weight of it. Well, what he did was he took his 2 carriers that were his most cost-effective or affordable carriers, and he stopped shipping with them, right? And through this level of misunderstanding that he was unaware of, he cut his nose off, spite his face, because now he is no longer shipping with his most cost-effective carriers, is rerouting freight to other carriers because he was mad at these W&Is, because he didn't understand them or wasn't aware of the change, right? Regardless of how it happened, the impact to the business was known. I no longer can route my freight with my least cost provider in any given lane because I was mad at them. So basically, I was taking my ball and going home because I didn't understand why they were happening. I got on the phone with him. I explained to him why this was happening. He completely understood it. But more importantly, we kind of took a step forward. And now we're probably going to enable the freight audit tool for him so that he can match those invoice records with those actual quote records, and better yet, understand automatically when there's a variance, why it happened, and then he could submit his scale certificates, he could dispute that. At the end of the day, he now has the information necessary to improve the communication with his carriers. And if you clear up the misunderstanding and have better communication, you're just going to have a better overall experience.